Kitco News, special coverage of the Decentral Miami Conference, is brought to you by Hook Finance, a revolution in DeFi asset management.
We're here now with Alex Mashinsky. He is the CEO of Celsius Network, and so many things we'll be talking about. Alex, great to finally see you in person.
Yeah.
How are you?
Excellent. The floor is amazing. You know, the conference is full. I was also at NFT Basel yesterday speaking over there. Super busy. Everybody's excited.
Miami is
We're cranking up. Miami is killing it.
Yeah, amazing energy here. Amazing energy in the crypto space. Sentiment is really strong. How are you feeling about the markets right now? You tweeted something recently. You tweeted the bottom. What is it, 53,000?
I didn't just tweet. I also bought $10 million worth of Bitcoin and Ethereum.
What happened exactly?
We hit the bottom. Everything's going up higher. We should see new highs both for Ethereum and Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Momentum is with us. There was a little bit of selling. People weren't sure where we're going higher.
So, new highs. What are we talking about here?
Still same projection. So next year, we're gonna hit 140 to 160, blow off top. It may be before tax day, before April 15, or we may slip into Q2, but we're gonna have a blow off top and then we're going below 100,000. I think there's too many sellers at that level.
Yeah.
We're gonna probably retest it. The bottom is gonna be at a new high, 80 to 90,000 after that.
Ethereum's going to test a new high as well. Can it reach 5,000?
It's gonna test 5,000.
It's going to test 5,000. What does that mean? And it's going to maybe...
It's a hard number. Look, we went to 4,700 last time, right? We had the resistance there. We're gonna have a lot of resistance at 4,900.
I'm sensing you're more bearish. Sorry, you're not bearish. I'm sensing you're more bullish on Bitcoin than you are on Ethereum.
No,
Is that true?
I actually tweeted that I bought more Ethereum than Bitcoin.
Yeah, because you believe the Ethereum flipping is still happening, right?
I believe that Ethereum is running faster because it is locking up more and more assets ETH2 is locking up more and more assets, so supply is being shrunk faster than on the Bitcoin network.
And people, explain the Ethereum supply equation, because there is unlimited supply, but you're only allowed to mint a certain number of ETHs per year, right?
So ETH has a 3% inflation, but it also has a burn.
Yeah.
So because of the burn, the inflation is almost zero.
Okay.
Bitcoin has 3% inflation, so it actually is at 3% created every year,
Yeah.
right? Ethereum on top of it also has what's called ETH2, meaning you can put ETH into a contract to earn yield, and because when you lock it in, you cannot take it out. So every day, more and more ETH is being taken off the market, plus you have the burn, that is creating artificial limited supply, meaning you need less buyers to push prices higher.
So we're at this DeFi conference. I'm talking to so many people building apps on Ethereum, on Solana, you name it. Why aren't they building as many apps on Bitcoin?
Well, Bitcoin does not have a smart contract. It does not have that development environment. But Celsius just launched a new project, Celsius X. The website is celsiusx.io. And we are natively going to enable people to go between 16 different blockchains.
Wow.
So you don't have to use bridges, or you don't have to choose where to work on. You can take any asset. You can take Bitcoin, put it on Solana. You can take Ethereum, put it on Cardano, and so on, so on.
What's the advantage of that? Why do I need to transfer?
No fees, instant availability. You can also retrieve instantly. So it gives you this instant access, and you can create any pairs. You can create any kind of combinations, which is amazing for crypto. It builds bridges between all the different castle. You know, like Bitcoin is a castle, Ethereum is a castle. Right. We build the bridges and the roads between all of them.
We're at a DeFi conference. What are the major hurdles of DeFi that need to be overcome? What are the main innovations that need to happen right now in the space, you think?
So today, DeFi is still for the few people who understand how to use keys, what are smart contracts, how to use Solidity or some other programming language, right? If you're an average Joe, you have no idea what's happening here. If you walked in here, you get scared and you run away. So we want to make sure that people can come and without knowing much, participate in the value creation here. But we have to do it in a safe way without them getting on a rug pull or getting scammed or getting into some kind of a hack, like getting into a project that get hacked and so on. So what Celsius does is really helps people navigate in a safe way into this environment. We have 45 assets that are listed. We know these are solid projects. So when you use a Celsius wallet, you know, okay, I'm gonna earn yield and I'm gonna stay safe in a safe environment because Celsius already did the homework and figured out what's safe.
I know you and I have talked about this a lot, but let's revisit it again just for the audience who maybe have not seen our prior interviews. Staking in your platform, how does it work? How does Celsius generate yields?
So normally you keep coins on exchange or in your wallet, they don't earn anything.
That's right.
When you move coins to Celsius, we aggregate coins from over 1 million users and we lend them to institutions. So our borrowers, the people who take coins, are exchanges and institutions that are paying yield. They're paying us interest for borrowing Bitcoin or Ethereum or Cardano. Why do they need to borrow? They do market making. They do arbitrage, right? They sometimes need to short the market. That they need the asset. They're willing to pay yield. So while you are hodling, while you're waiting for the asset to appreciate in value, they're paying you to use the asset in the meantime, right? The markets are going up and down. They want to take advantage of it. They'll borrow the asset to go short for 10 minutes. Then they go long. Or they arbitrage the price between Coinbase and Binance.
Basically how a bank works.
Just like a bank. But here you get paid for it. Normally the bank keeps all the money for themselves because you deposit your salary there and they have the money, they don't have to pay you.
If I have a high interest savings account, they can pay me a few percentage points a year, right? It's the same concept.
0.5% is the best you can get.
So,
Celsius pays 10% on stable coins.
Okay, so somebody who doesn't understand this might say, Alex, that sounds like a scam. How is it that a financial institution with 100 years of history is paying me a few basis points and you're paying 10%?
So 4 years ago, when we just started talking, Celsius was the only company doing it. Today, there's 100 companies who are saying, I'm also Celsius. I can do the same magic.
Sure.
So also, you know, states and other regulators have looked into Celsius. They all came back, thumbs up, there's no problem. We didn't find anything that was, and we just raised $750 million round. So our investors dug all the way in, made sure everything is kosher. No problems.
Can you comment on who these investors?
The reason banks don't pay you is because banks are not your friends. And they know you're not going to go anywhere else. So they can pay you half of 1% or less, and still you're not going to go and take your money and go somewhere else. So today, most people don't know that they can take Canadian dollars or US dollars, convert them into stable coins, and earn 10%.
The people borrowing from you, in the future, would you see a scenario in which the interest rate for borrowing is lower and then the yield for your depositors may be lower as well? Is that a scenario?
Well, we have almost 30 billion now under management. I think we can go to 100 billion and still pay high single digits. What I think is going to happen is that the banks are going to be forced to pay a little bit more. And we probably, as we get bigger and bigger, we're going to pay a little bit less, but there's going to be still a gap between us and the banks.
If I want to deposit money with Celsius or any platform that offers yields, what is some what are projects or protocols that you would recommend for staking?
So we support basically every major staking projects, Matic, Cardano, any major project that is natively staking, or we pay yield on gold, right? So you can have Pax Gold or ProShare as gold. There's, I hear a rumor that Kitco is going to come up with something, so we would support all of that. And then you could earn on Ethereum, Bitcoin, all the basics, right? Even though they may not pay yield, Celsius pay yields on Bitcoin. You can earn 6.2% on your Bitcoin.
I heard some engineers now are asking for their salaries to be paid in USDC or USDT, and then they're just staking that because they're earning, 20% APY versus nothing on their fiat. I mean, that sounds...
20 sounds too much.
20 sounds too much.
10% sounds reasonable.
It still sounds too good to be true.
Now I'm the reasonable guy now that everybody else is throwing yields around.
Are there any risks to this strategy? Because why isn't anybody else doing this?
So not all yield is created equal.
Right.
Just because we are using safe protocols doesn't mean somebody else is using the same thing. So if somebody's offering you a lot, 20%, I would be very careful digging into why and how they're paying it. Again, we paid between 8 and 12% it oscillates between 8 and 12% for the last 3 years. We've paid out over $1 billion. That's more than all of the other guys put together.
Well, you say you have to be careful. What does that mean? What are the downside risks?
So if they're using risky protocols, the protocol itself can be hacked, or there could be a rug pull, meaning the creators of the protocol steal all the money, right? Or there could be basically other types of situations where you will lose. You as a user of the protocol, you will lose your money. With Celsius, we have not had any of these situations because we're very skeptical, we're very careful, and we work with very few companies.
Okay. Just very quickly, you mentioned you have new investors in Celsius X. Can you mention who they are? The institutional players?
Yeah, so we use, it's public information. Westcap is one of the investors. CDPQ, or the Canadian Pension Fund. Caisse de Dépôt. We have a few others. And we're super excited to have them as our partners and work with them to grow Celsius and make it available to hundreds of millions of people.
Let's tie this back to markets now. Taproot upgrade for Bitcoin came out a few weeks ago. It didn't do wonders for the price. It didn't push it up to new all-time highs. People were maybe disappointed. Were you surprised that an upgrade didn't really do anything for the price?
I don't think that Bitcoin is driven by technological innovation. So Bitcoin is driven as a store of value by supply and demand, by how many buyers and how many sellers. So it's driven more by the state of trust in the crypto community. So if there's a lot of trust, the price goes up because people don't want to sell and new people want to buy. When there's less trust, when there is arguments or disagreement about regulation or about adoption or about what's happening in different markets, then the prices go down because more people are willing to sell because they don't know where Bitcoin is going. That's why over the weekend, I felt we were at maximum distrust, when we hit that 53,000. Yeah. And that's why I felt that, okay, usually it happens on weekends that Bitcoin price moves more than during the week because there's less volume. It's easier to move Bitcoin price over the weekend.
I'm just curious, why 53,000 for a low for you? I mean,
it's not a magic number. It was just a sentiment. I think the actual support is at 50. I think you have much stronger support at 50 than 53.
Number, isn't it? Yes. Have you talked to any Bitcoin bears? Have you talked to any Peter Schiff, for example? Fantastic debate, by the way, from both sides. You and Peter, you've both made excellent points. People should watch that video again. But
yeah, so definitely watch the debate. I think the Bitcoin bears are going extinct. Global warming is causing an extinction of Bitcoin bears.
You haven't talked to the people I've talked to, so I don't know.
Celsius is raising the temperature on the Bitcoin bears. That's why.
Okay, let me ask you this. What's it going to take for 1 billion people to use Bitcoin?
So look, the real competition is not between the dollar and the Bitcoin. I think the real competition is digital yuan, China, versus Bitcoin as alternative solutions, alternative store of values to the US dollar. Because if you're in the US dollar, you already believe the TradFi or traditional finance. Only if you want to move out, you have to make a decision. Am I going into gold? Am I going into digital yuan as a currency? Or am I going into Bitcoin or other crypto assets?
Yeah.
So I don't see Bitcoin competing with the dollar.
Okay. I've been getting asked this a lot by the visitors here at the conference. Risks to Bitcoin, in particular government regulations. They asked me, hey, can Bitcoin be banned or any sort of peer-to-peer system be banned because they don't want any competition to the digital yuan, CBDC, FedCoin, whatever. And I tell them, well, China already tried that. That didn't work out so well. But anyway, what's your response to the fear of government crackdowns on peer-to-peer systems, not just Bitcoin?
So the crackdown has already happened, if you haven't heard. The United States decided to tax Bitcoin. It's great news. Why? If they want to tax it, they don't want to ban it. So Biden's entire economic plan is based on the $1.6 billion, whatever that they passed, the $1.6 trillion, right. Is based on taxation. It's based on recovering a lot of that money through taxation. And Bitcoin represents over 30 billion of that taxation.
The underlying assumption, I guess, from the Biden administration is that Bitcoin is not going away. and as a form of money, it could grow even more. So we need to monetize on this, right?
The United States is locking horns with the digital yuan, not with Bitcoin. The fight is between China and the United States, locking horn to figure out who is going to be the reserve currency of the world. Bitcoin is not a contender to be a reserve currency of the world.
Why are they even competitors to CB, Chinese yuan and Bitcoin? Like, I don't, different use cases. I don't, what's the...
So China is going to force all of their economic partners, everybody who's using the Belt and Road Initiative, 68 countries, to use the digital yuan. It's not just 1.4 billion Chinese citizens. Every one of the commercial partner will have to denominate transaction in digital yuan.
Yeah, okay. Do you think, and again, not a comparison to the US dollar, but do you think that Bitcoin could one day have a higher value in circulation than all the USDs in the world?
It may happen. I think, again, when the two big boys fighting, there's a lot of scraps, and Bitcoin will be feeding on those scraps.
Yeah.
Will it become bigger than the other two guys? If they keep printing money, yes. The answer is yes.
You're a technologist. You're one of the founders of VoIP, so you're very in tune with technological innovations. What do you think about Web 3.0, the metaverse, and some of these new themes that we're seeing here at the conference?
So I'm a big supporter of Web 3.0. I think decentralization is a long-term momentum, is something that's going to happen across the board. I'm not a Meta supporter. I don't, because Meta / Facebook / Metaverse is not Web3. Meta is centralizing the internet. Meta is trying to basically replace Bitcoin with its own currency, right? With its own token, and launch that and basically convince you and me to use their infrastructure in the metaverse versus Bitcoin in the decentralized world.
Sure.
So, no metaverse.
You're not a fan of the metaverse?
No. It's a metamorphosis of what we're trying to do.
That's too bad. I was hoping to see an Alex Mashinsky avatar. I was gonna, do an interview with you in the metaverse. Well, if Facebook or Meta comes out with a token, maybe you list it, right?
We're neutral in the wallet,
Yeah.
So we have to add what our customers want and what's safe. If Facebook issues a token and we think it's safe, we'll add it to the wallet.
That's a good point. Final question. How do you evaluate the safety of tokens? Because I've talked to some projects that are unlisted. Obviously, you can't list everything. What's your selection criteria?
So two main components. One is the code safe? Is it been around long enough? Right, so time is a very good tester. Think about it this way, Bitcoin, the bounty on Bitcoin, if you crack Bitcoin, is $1.5 trillion.
Yeah.
Every hacker in the world tried to go at Bitcoin and failed. So if a project is 6 months old, normally that's not enough time for it to be tested with real kind of, and if the market cap is not big enough, if it doesn't have several $1 billion locked up, it may not be a big enough target. All the big targets have been tested. North Korea and Iran and all these guys already tried to hack it because it's like free money for them, right? So that's one element. The second element is, does it have real utility? Can you use it for commerce? Can you use it for yield? And so on and so on.
Maybe North Korea just needs better hackers. Thank you.
They have some of the world's best.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming to the show. Thank you for watching Kitco News. We'll have more for you from Miami.
Kitco News special coverage of the Decentral Miami Conference is brought to you by Cook Finance, a revolution in DeFi asset management.